Here's the thing about cheese that you and I have talked about a little bit is that it's a tough one to rid from your diet. If you've eaten cheese, then what you call it is dairy crack. It is a highly, highly, highly addictive food. Is that just because our bodies are kind of wired to seek out those high calorie foods because, we're scavengers, we like to store the fat. That's just kind of how we progressed from evolution.
It's a funny thing. It smells like old socks. Why do people get hooked on this darn stuff? You think, of all the foods that would be addicting, why that one?
I know, right?
It's the food that is defined by the fact that it stinks. And it does.
Some worse than others.
Yes. In fact, we can talk about why it stinks at some point.
By all means.
But yes, that was, as I said, kind of the top of the show. That's what lured me into this in the first place. Is I would see people who on a vegan diet were getting dramatically healthier, but they felt addicted to cheese. They'd say, I want to go back to this. I think, wait a minute. Don't go back to eating it. That's the food that didn't love you back.
Right.
That's the food that gave you diabetes.
Right.
Why is it addicting? I think there's three reasons. Number one, it's fatty. Number two, it's salty. And fatty, salty foods in combination, onion rings, potato chips, French fries, those foods, they become addicting snack foods. And, I bet you can't eat just one. That's, if it's mashed potatoes, well, maybe you're not going to dig into it. But the fatty, greasy combination grabs you. Cheese is really fatty and really salty. But I think there's a third reason that's bigger, and those are casomorphins. These are opiates that are in the dairy protein. Casein, casein. Casein is the protein in milk, and it's concentrated when you make cheese. And when the casein protein breaks apart, it's like any protein. It's a string of beads, and each bead is an amino acid. And those beads go into your bloodstream, and your body uses them to make protein. But some of those beads, the amino acids in the protein, stay together in a string of 4, 5, 6, 7 amino acids, and they go to the brain. They attach to the very same receptors that heroin attaches to, and they have an opiate effect, a narcotic effect on the brain.
You mentioned opiates. I was just going to ask. I mean, is that the same as, like an OxyContin or heroin or, any one of those opiates?
Not only is, yes, the short answer is it's the same, and it's simply not as potent. It's like it's a milder narcotic. I'll give you a number there. There was one, probably the most potent of the cheese casomorphins, has 4 amino acids in it. It's called morphiseptin, and it attaches to the brain receptors with about 1/10 the power of pure pharmacy-grade morphine. So it's not enough to get you arrested, but it's just enough to make you think, oh, that was nice. Let me come back to that. I hope I have some in the fridge, or I could be vegan except for cheese. That's the drug talking, I have to tell you.
Well, serious question then. Half joking, half serious. Can you OD on cheese? I mean, take, fat and all of that aside.
It's not going to kill you, but yes, but will you have physical effects? Yes, you will. I don't know if you ever noticed anybody who kind of lingered over the cheese tray a little too long, and the next day they were really constipated. Well, what does a narcotic painkiller do? It binds a person up. And so what have you been doing? You've been taking mild narcotics, putting them right down through your intestinal tract, and it just suddenly the next day you can't go to the bathroom. You've been eating a narcotic.
Wow. Consider my mind officially blown right now. It's like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Don't try this at home.
No, God, please don't. Here's the thing, though. So not only is this addictive, we're, kind of fighting an uphill battle in that there's constant marketing and some big dollars and some very high, powerful people behind it trying to make sure that we eat as much cheese as possible.
Yes. Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
The U.S. government partners with the dairy industry to promote cheese. There are a number of programs. There have been advertising programs. The power of cheese. Lots of ads about dairy in general, but cheese in particular, to promote cheese. And people would say, wait a minute, how can that be? Why would the government do it? The government does it by law. There is a law on the books that the U.S. government must promote American agricultural products. And so they promote, and it's without regard to their health value.
Yeah.
And so the government has a contract, which I can show you, that they signed with Wendy's to market the Wendy's Cheddar Lovers Bacon Cheeseburger.
No.
Yes. They have signed contracts with McDonald's. I mean, this is smart. Listen, Chuck, if you want to market a product, don't just put an ad on the side of a bus. Get it into every fast food restaurant in America. And suddenly you're going to change what Americans eat. And that's what they did. They did this with, they sold 2.25 million pounds of cheese. Wendy's did. On contract with the U.S. government for that one sandwich alone in the promotional period. They worked with Burger King. They worked with Taco Bell. So you're going through the Taco Bell drive-thru. You don't know this, but there was a reason the person said through the little speaker, "Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. Would you like to try a quesadilla today?" They were paid to say quesadilla.
Wow. How about that?
No, here, Mark Kennedy and Mindy Kurzban and others on the PCRM staff over the years, through the Freedom of Information Act, have gotten their hands on the contracts that spell these things out. The government sent consultants to McDonald's headquarters to advise them on marketing. Can you imagine if you're an American business and you're trying to compete with other businesses, if you've got the government sending you help for free? And who do you think pays for this?
Yeah.
So anyway, partly it's the producers who pay, but the somebody set up the structure.
Yeah.
You did, and I did. Everybody paying taxes did. It's a corrupt system. And then who pays for the cholesterol-lowering medications that a person may need? The government is paying for this over and over and over again, and the taxpayers are footing the bill in every possible way.
That's unbelievable.